discuss. Let's bring in former U.S. Attorney Guy Lewis. And just start with a simple question. Do parents have legal recourse here?
I think they do have legal recourse. Look, we look at the Supreme Court, and you can see how the pendulum is starting to swing. We saw a couple of decisions out of the Supreme Court regarding whether or not OSHA, the Occupational Safety, Health and Safety Administration, could enforce or require vaccinations. We see where employers of 100 or more, the Supreme Court's no longer supporting those kind of mandates. Look, as we get more and more into this, the government and their the court's deference to the government, I think, is going to be less and less.
I think you're right, and we've been having conversations. There's differences between mask mandates and vaccine mandates, and with the vaccines, then of course there becomes questions with the boosters, and now they're developing new vaccines to target variants. I mean, you do have to ask yourself at a certain point, when does this all end?
Well, that is the best question, and the way Look, I'm uncomfortable. I think parents should have a role in this process. And when school boards began making requirements, themselves making mandates, you've got that pitted against the governor, who's also duly elected and certainly has a role and a say in this. And unfortunately, the kids seem to be caught in the middle.
Yeah.
Surely to goodness, there has to be a way to sort through this, resolve this problem based on the science, based on common sense, and not be drug into court every time there's a dispute between parents and school boards.
You bring up a really excellent point there. Glenn Youngkin was elected to elicit change. It was because people were tired of the status quo that they were dealing with. And you listened to the report with the two parents. One parent was saying, I don't want my child to be in a mask. She's been in a mask for too much of her life already. That parent could make the choice. And then you had another parent who said, I feel safer if my kid is in a, does wear a mask. So why can't the parents decide? And different parents can go different ways on this.
Absolutely. Look, in anything, whether it's in law or life, there always has to be reasonable accommodation. Look, if I had an issue with a school or anything else, the school generally has to reasonably accommodate my belief or disability, so long as, again, it's nothing extreme.
Right.
And I think that's appropriate. We're now required to show cards to walk into a restaurant. We can sit in certain places, can't sit in others. I mean, look, there's extremes on this, and those, I think, are the worst kind of cases that are catching these kids in the middle.
Let me switch gears for a moment, because the Supreme Court is also set to review challenges to race-based U.S. college admissions at both Harvard and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Your thoughts on where that will go?
Boy, oh boy, I think these race-based decisions, I think they are short-lived. I just don't see this conservative Supreme Court coming in and saying, hey, it's okay, like they've done in the past. I mean, they've held this in the past. It's okay to make decisions based on race or ethnicity or gender. I think those kind of decisions are short-lived indeed. I went back and looked at a case that Sandra Day O'Connor wrote 25 years ago in 2003, saying, hey, these kind of decisions in about 25 years won't be necessary anymore. So I think this Supreme Court may be willing to strike these decisions down.
All right, well, we'll be watching. Appreciate your time today. Great to see you.
Likewise.
Okay.